please see the link in this episode's description for a trailer for an element of Pugilism. And there is a Z-Fest like contest going on, so do with that as you will. I'm a libertarian. I want you to choose what you want to choose.
No, I mean, don't you want people to like us? That's the whole point of it.
I want people to like us for us, not because they feel like...
Because we told them to?
Yeah, we're informing them,
sure.
And then they can make their own decision.
Well, please click the link and click like.
Thank you.
You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
And this week I just gotta stop saying week. We record these weekly, but we don't release them weekly.
Technically, we do release them weekly.
Oh, they come out every week. That's true. Thank you.
So it counts.
We have Andrew Macht. And do you see now? You told me how to say it right before we got on.
You said it right.
Thank you. But in my head, I could spell it Mocked, and I know you spell it Macht, which listeners know because they're looking at a podcast.
Oh, yeah. I guess I have to spell it a certain way.
No. It's just when I said it, it made me think like, well, you're not being mocked, you know.
Oh, okay.
Has anyone ever pointed this out to you before? This is probably the worst way you've started an interview, I gotta imagine.
No.
You've done worse, tell us.
Believe in yourself, Kyle.
Thank you.
You're a great host.
Thank you, dear brother. I'm going to start with a hot one then. You worked on a Star Wars project with Dave Filoni. Did I see that right in your resume?
Yeah, which one?
Well, so I saw some deleted scenes from Clone Wars, and you had done the dialogue editing for these like deleted scene. Am I correct? Is that it's a deleted scene from the Clone Wars that they restored or something like that?
Remaking. So the original cartoon was actively being remade. Working with a team to develop the new scenes for the re-imaging of the entire series.
Oh my gosh, so they're going to re-release... Oh wait, this is announced. You can talk about it. It's on your profile, so obviously this is...
There's more out there right now. You can find a bunch on YouTube.
Oh, so this is... Who are you working with in relation to this? Like Dave Filoni isn't calling you up and going, okay, we're reworking this, or is he?
Yeah.
You've talked to Dave Filoni?
Yeah, and Frankie, so how I got involved in it is a guy out in Texas named Frankie Westmoreland.
Okay.
Contacted me saying he needed help clean up the original sound for Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to clean up all the dialogue, get everything out that was from the original build that they just didn't record properly, and then get that resubmitted. And then we did a few test runs of that, and it was going pretty well. And then they said, just keep it going.
Okay,
so that's cool.
Is this eventually going to like get re-uploaded to Disney Plus? Like,
yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing with it. That's where I get left out of as a sound editor. You kind of, you start working on the project and. You finish the project, and then from there they deliver it wherever they need to after that.
Okay, I'll use my business mind. So you know Wes from another project, and he originally worked on Clone Wars, or he's just
he was working on it originally, and then he contacted me just out of blue, just because I know a lot of people that do sound editorial work.
Sure.
And he just said, hey, I got a gig for you. You want to hop on it? I didn't know what it was at first. And then, because it was still under NDA.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything. They just said, hey, I got a project for you. And I know you're really good at dialogue editing. Do you want to do it? Okay. I just said yes out of the blue. I didn't know what was coming my way. But yeah, I had to clean up dialogue even because what we used is some snippets from original Star Wars, meaning episodes 4, 5, and 6, that was originally recorded on the 16-track recorder.
Wait, could you explain a 16-track recorder to... there's a mix of people who listen who, like movies. Some people work on movies, so they might not know. That's an older piece of technology, correct, for sound recording?
Yeah, it's original, pretty much a tape deck that just has 16 channels to it. And that's why it's called 16-track recorder. It's just for that reason. It's just you have those 16 channels available to you, and that's it. That's all you work with. And it all gets mixed down to a 2-track after that, which is a stereo file.
Oh, left and right kind of thing?
Yeah. Left is channel 1, right is channel 2.
Is it recording from 16 directions when you say 16-track?
No, it's 16 mono tracks.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and they can be summed or split in any sort of way. You can do whatever you want.
How do you know my brother? Because he's production sound. I know you do production sound and post sound.
I guess what was the first one we did together? That's the wagon wheel, wasn't it?
It was Alan's, yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
think
wagon
so.
wheel.
That was the only one, I think.
Yeah, I had to clean up your dialogue.
Yeah, how was that? Was it pretty tricky?
The main trickiness was cleaning up Alan's video editing work.
Oh,
How he cut the film was more the trick, because if you remember, I brought you in and we were looking at the boom shot. Your boom was in frame and all that.
Well, that's easy to erase.
It can be if the right shots are done. He only had one shot without your boom in it. So he was able to get rid of it, but he only had one shot to replace it with.
Okay.
Wait, did you do video editing on top of audio editing?
No, just audio editing. But I was calling all this stuff out as I was, working on the film. Because I think he only gave me like every Z-Fest project, like 6 hours to work on the sound.
Wait,
Dang,
you worked on all of Alan's Z-Fests?
I worked on a few of them for him.
But you need to give you 6
or
hours?
Alan's mixed in the fray of whatever I'm working on.
Sure. Because you're full-time sound, correct? Like full-time post, or is it a mix of other things?
Mainly post. I pick up production sound here and there. It's easier to do post for me these days and being out in the field. I still work 9 to 5. I work for a company called CTI on the fly, so that's where I've been all day today. It's an AV company, audio video company. I handle installation as well as support for courtrooms and educational centers like high schools and elementaries, stuff like that. And I cover the entire state of Minnesota. So,
Wow.
Oh, so you have to travel around the state and install these things.
I was in Duluth on Friday and now down here. Where was I today? Oh, I was just in Burnsville today. So.
Okay.
But I get thrown all over the place because I was out in Fergus Falls on Monday. I took yesterday off. Yesterday was my first day off, and I don't know how long.
Jeez.
And then, I actively on break from sound at the moment, but I just picked up another feature starting next week. So,
Oh, nice.
with that being said, I do 9 to 5 plus that. So my schedule's early. I start work at 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, and some days I'll get home at 5, 6, 8 at night, and then start audio editing right after that, do back to back. So I do that from usually 8:30, 9 p.m. till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Jeez.
Wake up and start my day at 7 a.m.
How do you not burn out from all that work?
Skills.
Yeah.
Lots of Red Bull. What do you like? Coffee, Red Bull? What is it? Tell me.
Coffee is actually my main choice. No, we splurged last year on a espresso machine, a nice one.
Oh.
So, it has a frother and all that fun stuff on it. Yeah, so I can make all sorts of drinks and less calories than going to Starbucks or Caribou.
Oh, totally.
Way less. I like our drinks are probably at least 90 calories when we make them, and we can make French vanilla, caramel, whatever you want.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have one of those heroin pod ones, as I call it. I think that's the brand name, right? Heroin pod coffee maker.
They don't sponsor us, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Heroin pod coffee sponsor. And I think those are 0 calorie. And that's the thing, like, ooh, I'm intaking something, but it's not water.
So we do the grounds or bean, and we actually grind it ourselves and all that stuff.
You're a fancy coffee person. I respect this. Do you not like when you have like coffee at like a conference or out of a heroin pod or something like that?
No, I'm not a snob. I drink whatever. No, I'm not a snob. I'm pretty easy. It's I drink a lot of coffee these days, more than I used to, but probably an unhealthy amount. That's what I don't recommend.
Sure.
What I do. I don't recommend not getting sleep either. Definitely don't follow my footsteps ever. They'll definitely kill you.
Well, we're all going to die someday. And I think I end up saying that in every series of the podcast lately.
Yeah.
It's on my mind.
You're the positive guy. Come on.
Well, I'm positive about my
pessimist.
life until I die. Everyone will die, and that's, See, what I get off on is, like, how many milligrams of caffeine. Like, I know 200 is too much, you know?
Definitely over 200.
It's kind of like
way
edibles.
over 200. Because I drink mainly espresso shots and sometimes double shots. Most of the time, double shots.
All right. Well, this is
Probably 4 or 5 times a day.
But you're wait, what? 4 times what?
4 to 5 espresso shots a day.
Oh my God. Okay. And you're a professional sound editor and a professional audio visual. What do you? Smart hands and feet. What's your
Integration. So integrator. So audio video integrator.
audio video integrator? Okay.
Yeah.
AVI.
Yeah, sure. That's actually a name of a company. And ASI is actually a company that got bought out that is a local branch, which I work for, called CTI now. They were an independent company serving Minneapolis for quite a while. And then the owner, my boss, sold the company to CTI, which is now who I work for. I'm the first employee under CTI that's in the Minneapolis branch. CTI is a national company.
Okay.
They are established in all 50 states, and they're in India and Canada.
Oh, so like some
Yeah.
PE firm owns them, and
No, they're an independent company,
Okay.
private company. And yeah, it's courtrooms I do all the time. So every courtroom, I've pretty much been in every county in Minnesota at this point and touched the courtrooms. So
what's the nicest courtroom from a sound point of view?
depends how good I am at my job.
Which one did you do the best? I guess you probably don't want to say which one you did the best at.
It don't matter. That doesn't matter. Because the people that use these systems don't give a damn about what we do. They just want a better system than what they had.
Sure.
Because all the courtrooms across Minnesota are all outdated. And we're the company coming in and updating those courtrooms. So we're using control systems, audio systems, and video systems. So there's 3 elements to AV. There you got your control, which is usually a touch panel that operates the video in audio functionality.
Okay.
So, courtrooms, you have your document cameras. Lawyers will screen share their laptop content or USB thumb drives. And that's all used through stuff like USB extenders, video extenders, HD base T setups, which is literally the same thing as an HDMI extender. It just sends it down IP-based video, essentially. And then that all gets routed through a video switcher, which all gets controlled by that same touch panel. And then same with the audio, same deal, like certain areas of the courtroom have to have a certain mute functionality based on isolation for when, the lawyers and the judge need their own sidebar to privately discuss whatever's going on for the client. That all gets controlled for different mute functionality through the audio system. Video gets muted in certain ways because you don't want your content from the lawyer who's representing that client to go to everybody all at once. So that all has different mute functionalities there too to control who sees what, when, and why.
Is someone there orchestrating this in every court proceeding, or
How they control the system?
like a technician? It seems like, because I work with live events sometimes, and we have a whole separate person just running that board for a band.
So that's me. I program. So they're trying to make me the main programmer across company for the Minneapolis branch, or at least a backup to our current main, because we're getting overbooked. We're, I think, 27 courtrooms by July or something like that we're going to be touching across Minnesota. So it's going to be pretty significant. But that's just, outside of the field work that I do. But yeah, it keeps me busy. It throws me all over the place. I'm driving all the way out to Grand Marais, so I'm out there a lot. I'm going to Moorhead, Owatonna. I've been down there, and it just throws me all over the place. So I'm the support technician for that company currently.
So you're not only integrating, you're also the person
Supporting.
running it during a court proceeding.
Not during. If the system fails, then I get the phone call.
Got it.
But that can happen in the middle of a court proceeding, and then I only get 15 minutes to back up their system before someone's yelling, screaming down the line, or they have to literally stop the court session.
Well, in my mind, what I'm thinking of is a lot of these judges are older. And how do you teach somebody who's steeped in legal knowledge the intricacies of, okay, you press mute for this one, mute for that? But is it I guess it must be written right on the buttons, right?
Yeah. So you can design these control touch panels to be whatever you want, but the overall goal is making it the most user-friendly, and that's by literally discussing who's going to be using it. You talk to that person who's going to be touching it, and say, hey, what do you expect this to do? What legal actions do you need this to do? Because everything has to be documented for, literally, this is core government work. Everything has to be documented that we touch. So we have to have an open discussion, and some districts of Minnesota require certain things to be controlled in different ways. And the more it is user-friendly to the judge, the easier it is for them to literally present, represent, and give their ultimate jurisdiction about what's going on in the courtroom, because they don't want to be sitting there thinking about the technology. They want to be focused on literally what the case is.
Sure. So who's I'm sorry. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, I know we're stepping away from Phil,
who's
but
pushing
that's right.
mute when they're supposed to mute this versus that? You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, the clients are like during the sidebar.
Yeah.
Who hits the mute button?
So the judge has control. So there's
Oh, it is the judge is the DJ.
there's two panels. So they have a clerk who also handles that on the sideline. Then there's the reporter who actually is recording the active
Court
case.
reporter, you mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every courthouse is different on where they are seated.
Sure.
But the reporter is responsible for recording everything and listening to playback and making sure it's all being, actively represented and recorded properly. If any lines missed, they have to literally stop the case and, regather their thoughts. So that's why it's very important to get the technology right away. Otherwise, it literally interrupts that case and they have to stop immediately.
Yeah. Because I remember, there's been, not to go into them, famous cases in the Twin Cities that were, highly publicized, where people were watching it and all the technology is there. So very cool. You've been in audio for 14 years. Is that correct? You've been a professional post-op.
14 or 15 years, whatever it's on now, 2009.
Well, that's over a decade and a half.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And okay, so you
Nobody's keeping track.
when did you enter the different guilds because are you in some guilds? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, so I'm part of the Motion Picture Sound Editors Guild currently, MBWTFB. We just had the
Hustle?
what?
MBWTFB Hustle. I couldn't resist the joke.
Oh yeah,
Like
no.
MBWTFB.
I follow. So that's a guild that's based out in California, who represents everyone who is a sound editor. And then there's the local 700, which is the union guild.
IATSE? Or is it something else?
Yeah. It's just local 700 is California's major one.
Okay.
Where you get all the nice healthcare benefits, and after you serve amount of time.
Have you? How much time do you have to serve? Or do you not know offhand?
Yeah, it's entry level. I think it's like 400 hours or something like that per quarter.
So you're logging your hours every month because you're charging by the hour?
Yeah, well, so I'm not a part of that union currently.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to be living out there in order to be involved in that union.
Okay.
So I'm not a part of the local 700 at all.
Because that's in California. Got it.
That's in California, and I'm not part of the 695 here. Right? It's 695 out here?
I do not know. This is why we interview people, because we don't know any of this. And I'm not asking who you voted for, but what different awards do you get to vote on as part of that?
It's literally every category between MBWTFB's a little isolated because it's literally dedicated towards sound.
Yeah.
But it's multiple different categories between short form, long form. And when I say long form, that's features, short form, short films.
Television, something else?
Yep, there's television, broadcast is what they call it. And then there's feature length, short form, and then they break it down documentaries to animation, games. All those are part of MBWTFB's categories. And when you are a registered voter for that guild, well, I can literally talk about that one because the ceremony happened on Sunday. It's all now out in the public. It's actually on my Facebook. I shared a ton of that.
I saw that, and it's the Golden Reel Awards. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
the Golden Reel Awards. It's a pretty big ceremony.
Yeah.
Very well represented. I was actually supposed to be there.
What?
Yes, I didn't go just because my wife's birthday was on Sunday. So
Hell yeah, I get that.
yeah, so it's kind of like
How long you been married, if you don't mind me asking?
Wait,
Your wife told me to ask.
about 8 years, going on 8 years in July. 8 years in July.
I'm 7, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
7 in later this year. Honey, I remember. She doesn't listen.
No, I remember. It's just so many things that's happening. Like her and I have known each other since high school, so it's kind of like.
Oh.
So it's been that long.
Okay, so you knew her birthday was coming. Have you gone to the Golden Reel Awards before?
No, I've been asked to go every single year, and I just haven't bothered going just one of the big reasons is just I'm not represented at all at the moment, so it is actually a cost to go in.
Sure.
It's $300 to
Dang,
be a part of the event, and that's for guild members. Outside guild members is like double, but it is a pretty fancy catered event, and every major person's there. You're going to see a lot of famous people there. And it's not just, sound related people. I mean, Steven Spielberg shows up to this thing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big event. And like I said, I was supposed to be there this year. I get invited actually every year. So I've been part of the guild for 4 years.
Okay. Congrats.
I just need to go.
But you get all the schooners and stuff ahead of time, right?
Yeah, so I am actually a part of that. So I get screeners, which is great. It's like another way of getting Netflix. So I see everything way before it hits theaters.
Oh, before it hits theaters?
Yeah. So I get very, very early access. I'm not supposed to talk about any of that, but everything that I am talking about currently has been released at this point.
Sure.
Because the Golden Reels just, was released. But yeah, I see everything before it's released, and there's a lot of films that get submitted. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to review. Way too much stuff.
And you take it seriously? You actually review all of it? I know there's people who don't. For the Academy Award, you don't vote on the Academy Awards?
I do.
Oh, you do vote on the Academy Awards?
Yeah, I do that too. So that's separate.
Which we can't talk about. But even though you've already voted for the Academy Awards, that voting is ended, and this episode will come out until after the Academy Awards. But just so the audience knows that you're not talking about the Academy Awards, you're only talking about Golden Reel. Yeah,
the Golden Reels, it's actually, like I said, a really popular event that happens amongst the sound community. And a lot of people I know are there. I pretty much know just about everyone that's a part of that at this point.
How did you first start getting to know, when you entered the guild 4 years ago, did you start to meet people, or did you meet people before you entered the guild?
I met people before. You have to be represented to get into the guild.
Like you have an agent, you mean?
No, you have to know someone that's already in the guild, and they have to speak highly of you. They have to literally write an entire essay about you, about how skilled you are.
How many pages?
One person, Vicky Sampson, she's an amazing woman. She actually worked on the original Star Wars.
Hell yeah.
She was the ADR editor for that. So, she worked with Mark Hamill and all that and recorded him and stuff like that. So
you had to have him come back in and re-record his video. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she's pretty awesome. She's worked on a lot of great projects too. Pretty much every film that you've grown up with. But yeah, so she was one of the people that represented me. She wrote, probably like 16 pages about me.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
I don't think my wife would write 16 pages on me if it would keep me from dying. She would.
Her and I became very close over the years. She worked on Donnie Darko and stuff like that. But I've been helping her. A lot of my film work current comes from her. The last feature I just got off of came from her. And I just help her with dialogue editing on the sidelines. So as she gets stuck, which happens frequently for her because she's not used to the modern tools. She's an older woman, so she's used to literally cut, copy, paste the old school way. But that's how I work now, though. Is she trained me in to do it the Hollywood way.
What do you mean? What does that mean? Cut, copy, and paste? Because I understand that from editing.
It's the same thing as video editing or Word document. Literally exactly that. It's just you take audio clips and you cut, copy, and paste.
What would be the other way of doing it then?
Well, a lot of people turn to processing early on, way before that. You should never touch audio processing until you got your edit really solid, and that is literally just your cut, copy, paste. I'm not doing anything special ever. I'm not touching noise reduction. I never touch any of that stuff. I don't touch compressors, EQ, none of that. It's literally simplified. Find other audio clips. So if dialogue's not working in this clip, try finding another one that can work. And you can literally start stretching things and manipulating things with the software tools that are available to us currently. But literally, I focus strictly on that simple function of cut, copy, paste. And you can just move those clips along the timeline and hand sync all that to picture.
Does somebody come in later and then is it it makes me think of like, you don't touch color obviously until you have on draft one, you touch color once you've locked edit. Is this kind of the same thing of like a lock picture? It's a lock sound. You're copying and pasting to get to the lock sound.
When you say lock sound, that means a whole different thing. Getting to picture lock is actually what happens first. Video editor gets everything in. They create daily. So if we were talking about a complete workflow, so stepping away from the golden reels and all that stuff, and now focusing on kind of the audio post workflow.
Sure.
And I have a flow chart, which is I sent out on TC Cinematics really recent.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, that flow chart is breaking it down for anyone that is new to the industry or just needs the idea how a two-party system works. And two-party system applies to production as well. When we say a two-party system, we're talking about video is its own team, audio is its own team. So you got a production sound mixer with a boom operator on set, and then you have your camera department. You got your cinematographer and your assistants and all that stuff that's going on set. They are their own department, but you guys work together to sync sound and picture together. And that's done through timecode boxes and stuff like that on set and through the clapboard and stuff like that. So there's all various ways of bringing all those elements together. But once we get to post, and if all that stuff's set up correctly, you got your time code recorded, everything's in sync on camera. We then are having video editors assemble what are called dailies, or you might have a video village that's already doing this on set. What dailies is literally someone's quick syncing all the video and audio together, so that way it's just ready to go out in a bin or on a storage drive. And on that storage drive, we'll have all that synced together, ready for the video editor to start pulling that stuff down, and then they're not having to deal with any of that extra meticulous syncing that happens. But if you're using timecode, pretty much every video editing software, besides the very cheap things like CapCut, that doesn't have the functionality, but Adobe Premiere, DaVinci, Final Cut Pro, those NLEs, audio or video software engines all have like a simple function that literally looks at that time code for both video and audio and slaps it all together for you, and your dailies are done in literally a heartbeat.
Okay, because I'm familiar with like using Pluralize or something to sync up all of your different, your boom with the lavs with. Is it like that?
It's better. It literally takes timecode data. So timecode is just data. It's MIDI data, essentially.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It generates a pulse, which has literally information based on clock settings. So all that's done on a field recorder. The field recorder usually is the one that establishes the timecode information. You set that up, you say when you want it to start, what hour, and all that stuff like that, and then you use a timecode box, jam the timecode box to the recorder, and then you have another timecode box, that's the receiver attached to the camera, and you're jamming the camera to that, and that's how the time code feeds into the camera. You just have to adjust your camera settings to allow for that time code to be jammed.
On the camera?
On the camera. So, and on the recorder, you have to also set up on the field recorder, the sound recorder, in order to be able to generate the time code from the sound recorder to your time code box. That's the transmitter, and then the receiver end of that time code box, because we're talking about wireless now.
Sure.
So you got a receiver attached to the camera, and that receives the time code information. That gets then jammed into the camera. You have to enable those settings on the camera in order to allow that time code to flow.
This is why I'm a producer first, and some of this I recognize from having been explained to me in editing sessions, but I don't typically adjust the settings on the camera. And when I've done, production sound as recently as this year, and I haven't gotten any complaints, I got paid, so who cares,
Yeah, but once you start learning how to use timecode properly, it will save you night and day. Literally every scene, shot, take that you did throughout the entire day can be synced in literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, and obviously back in the day when, sound recording was, done, and then there was film, that was where the term dailies comes from, because that was a more laborious process to get those two things synced.
Yeah, it was just what someone did daily. Dailies. And someone literally sat on the sideline, Video Village, or they're back at the post house. Once they're done for the day, that storage drive immediately travels over to that person who's going to be handling, creating, and syncing everything up. And that can take a day or multiple days. And there's the term dailies. But yeah, it's very important to get all that synced up right away before your video editor touches it. Otherwise, that's another duty and task that your video editor has to do.
Oh God, yeah. That I understand from a workflow perspective.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate your workflow document that you put in TC Cinematics. I saw it.
Yeah. So you'll see dailies listed in there in the top left corner-ish. But that's what dailies is. And then once that gets to the video editor, dailies are done. Video editor's now seeing all this stuff. Now they're taking their favorite shots and all that and building out their timeline and the story of the film, following what the script wants and the director wants, and they're going back and forth until they get to picture lock. Now, picture lock is finally, hey, we're happy with our edits. Now we can move on to color grading or color correcting.
Sure.
Now, the sound team, post-sound team, does not need color correction done. We don't need color grading done. We don't need anything done, but VFX is the important key here. If you have visual effects on screen or going into the film, we need that visual representation in order to know if we need to sync sound to that.
Oh.
That happens in the middle of that, and that can cause what are called reconforms, I could segue into that, but I'll wait a minute before I touch that. But before VFX is done, and we're talking about layer video editor and picture lock, that's literally no one's doing any more copy and pasting on the video timeline. Mm-hmm. It's picture lock, meaning no frames are adjusting, everything is fixed. And then once that's finally determined, that's sent down to the sound team. And so you have multiple deliverables that will be requested or should be requested in order to make the job a lot easier, because on the post sound side, there's a lot of files generated for us. Just like the video editor, they're going to see a lot of video clips. We're going to see a shit ton, or if swear words are allowed.
No, you can swear. Fuck yeah, you can swear.
It's
cool.
explicit. Yeah, you're good.
But anyways, the audio editors are going to also have all those production sound files. The same amount as the video clips are recorded, we're going to have the same amount of files, or if not more, because if a good production sound person's on set, they're going to go the extra mile and find sound effects that were done on set. So doorknobs or certain elements that, someone might not have in their sound effect library. So they're going to be going around, and I don't know, it could be a unique car sound or something like that, just something that's very unique that you have to be weary about, that hey, maybe that sound person doesn't have that in their effect library, or they'd have to purchase it or whatever it is.
That's what we call Foley, right?
No,
I used Foley incorrectly.
You just used Foley very incorrectly.
Because Foley is what you do after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
we can touch on that.
We've reached probably the zenith of the interview segment. We can move into the non-spoiler segment. And I think a lot of what you're talking about is going to filter in. You're going to be able to use the Golden Reel nominees as a base to talk further about some of these, I think. And I've got some questions. But Kirk always wants to ask our most important question.
We ask every guest who else we should ask to be on the podcast.
I could recommend everybody. Get Zach Rivers. You guys know who he is.
Yeah.
We should actually. We've been intending to have Zach on. And
there's Jonathan Siri-Mose, another sound effects editor in town. I've worked with him on a few things. Jared Elkin. You guys should know who he is, right?
I reached out to him.
I've heard about him, yeah.
I reached out to him because he worked on that documentary about the North Minneapolis high school football team. Because I had watched it after it came out and saw his name in the credits. I was like, "Hey, Jared, what was that like?" He's like, "Pretty standard, nothing special."
Well, he has been doing production sound work for quite a while, so for him it's an everyday situation for him. So of course he could have commented a more similar way that he'd represent how he works on set.
Sure.
There's sometimes unique elements that come in there, but. Bernard Budry would be another guy to reach out to. He's another great guy to work with. I might butcher his name because I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Jeff Dolores. Do you know who he is?
I don't know who Jeff Dolores is. Does he spell it with an S?
He was my teacher.
Oh, okay.
Wow, right.
Your sensei.
Yeah, but he does production sound as well, and he's really well in it at this point. He taught at IPR for quite a while.
All right.
And that's where I went. Yeah, he was my teacher for quite a while, getting me started in post sound. But, you know, now he does a lot of production sound work. I don't know how much post he does these days. I haven't really talked to him much lately. But, yeah, he's a great guy to talk to. Bernard's great to talk to. Jared's great to talk to. Yeah, Jonathan Series-Mo is great to talk to. Zach River is great to talk to. I mean, I keep going down the list.
No, I think that's
I
great.
appreciate
You've recommended the most of any guests so far, so that's an achievement you can take home with you.
There's a lot of people, even in the Z-Fest community, that I could recommend talking to. Just, you know, just getting their name out there and getting them shown on some sort of podcast or other sort of way.
That's the name of the podcast. It's some sort of podcast.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go into the debate, non-spoiler for, I thought it was Oscars, wasn't it, or is it not?
Well, yeah, it is, but that's what we'll put in the SEO. But
Not a debate for me. I'm unfair because I, you know, represent.
Absolutely, you voted for,
yeah, we're not going. We're not going to.
I am an unfair.
We're not going to put you in a position to debate the like which one is best or something like that. I think I'm not even sure we'll have. It's probably going to end up being more questions.
Thank you for listening. For more on JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.